Hey, what's up? Welcome to Degen Ed. That's degenerative education, meaning none of this is financial advice. Just me having fun looking at charts like the chart behind me, which are numerous. And so in this video, I'm doing rough cut requests, which is just a rough cut, not edited, of me analyzing these charts. And so I will include timestamps to all of them down below, so you can skip to the one that you're most interested in. But before you do that, make sure you like the video and always share your thoughts in the comments down below or during live streams in the live chat. Let me know your requests. I do typically do ticker requests live on Sundays at 9 p.m. Eastern, so happy to go over the charts with you live then. I also do periodically do live streams during the week, have been doing a lot of earnings calls lately. But just going over the tickers here, I will be doing Fisker, ticker symbol FSR. I typically do videos on Fisker on Saturdays. It's a pretty popular one, but it was requested, so I will do an update. I am curious about Lucid Motors, ticker symbol LCID, so I'm doing a follow-up on that, as well as my curiosity stems to Polestar, ticker symbol PSNY. About a week ago, Nano Dimensions technology, NNDM, was requested. Sorry it's taken me so long to go over it, but I will be giving an update here. And then also just recently on Twitter, on X, NIO was requested. I did do a video and covered their earnings call earlier this week. But yeah, I'll do an update right here. And then finally on YouTube from a poll that I put out there, ticker symbol TCRT, which is Alaunos Therapeutics, was requested, so I will update them. But I'm going to start with Nano Dimensions because that was requested about a week ago. And I have to say, I have not looked at any of these charts recently or, over the past, day or so. So, this is a genuine rough cut request. But yeah, just thought I'd go over this. And so I had previously done this Fibonacci retracement from the high that was hit on, let's see, July 27th, so quite a while ago, and I do actually need to adjust this Fibonacci retracement to get to the peak right there, and so I'm just going to adjust that to the exact level so we get good readings on it. Even though the levels are approximate, I do kind of just want to do exact numbers here, so you can replicate exactly what I do if you want to be doing this. And so from that, it does look like we went up to the 618, which is right around a price of $2.85.7, currently being right around there. And it does look like I had this yellow line marked, I believe, just, as a psychological level at $3 a share. And so we did just test that a few days ago. It looks like we hit a high of $3.01 on March 4th. And so that would have been, I believe, Monday of this week. It is Thursday now as I'm recording this during trading hours. And it does look like we kind of got a double top there. Let's see the RSI. We did get a higher high in the price here. But looks like if we look at the bottom there, it does look like we put in a lower high. And so that is bearish divergence. It's not really too strong, not too pronounced, because it's just these few candles here. But I do think that $3 could be a local top before we continue higher. One reason for my thinking of that is that the highest close that we've seen up here is really, this close, which was on February 27th, and that was at a price of $2.88. Currently trading above that, the highest close is actually on March 1st, which was $2.92. So, not only do we want to be seeing a close above that, we want to see closes above these wick highs. And so that would be a close above $3.01. And so the reason why we want to see closes above these levels is because it suggests that there are still buyers stepping in at these new highs. At least for this run up, these are new highs. And if we're getting wicks up, that's saying people are selling above these levels. So with the open on the 4th being at a price of $2.93, that wick above that suggests that there are no buyers above $2.93. People are selling at $3 a share or right around that, expecting it to turn around. And so thus far, we have seen that. So I do think that price could be perhaps retracing to the 50% level, which it actually already did on the 5th. On Tuesday, we did get a wick down, hitting a low of $2.70, so being a fraction of a cent, half of a penny below that 50% level. And so it's quite possible that could be the retrace. But I do think that if we are not able to get two closes to confirm that we are continuing higher above $3.01, I do think that suggests that this is going to be a local top here, and we might be continuing down even lower, potentially to the 382 at a price of $2.55.3. Or, this orange line, which is a psychological level, $2.0025, right around there. And if I do throw up the volume profile, it actually does look like, we are above a little bit of this volume shelf here. But if we do break below $2.70, it does seem like there's a little bit of a gap as far as the consolidation goes, as far as, this volume profile shows us. But if we do get down to 250, we do see that acted as resistance over here, again, with this wick up to that level here. And so that could be suggesting that if price does dip below 270, that it might find support around 250, perhaps where this more pronounced volume shelf is, right around a price of $2.36.4, which corresponds to the 236 level of that Fibonacci retracement. But one thing that I can do, since it does look like we have hit a high running up here to 305, if that does hold as the high, what I can do is do another Fibonacci retracement. But first, I'm just going to color this one yellow so it doesn't interfere with the one that we're currently looking at, or the one that I'm going to draw here. So I'm just going to draw it out rough here, just so I can add the levels. I don't like to draw it out and then add the levels. I just think that's a little clunky. And so I'm doing this, and it will also include the 1618 extension. So that could include, a level that we will be visiting to the downside if we do break below $2.06. And so, I'm just going to do a retracement from 206 up to that high of 301. And I'm just going to draw it rough here and then adjust it. So 206, get that exact, and then 301, those are both exact. And then from that, I can lock that in place so it does not move. And now we have some levels to look at. And so from this, these are basically suggesting levels that it might retrace to, Fibonacci retracement, going from the low to the high here. We want to see where it might find support. It does look like it has found support at the 236 thus far. That is at a price of $2.78.6. We did get a break below, but that does seem to be a fake out with that red really doji, dropping below there. Could be like an abandoned baby, suggesting a reversal. We are seeing that now with price being up just about 1.5% on the day as I record this March 7th. But if that level does not hold, if the 236 does not hold as it has been tested, it could suggest that we will be revisiting the next level down, which is the 382, right around a price of $2.64.7 or 265, right around there. And so if we do not hold above 278, 279, we might be revisiting 265, so do keep that in mind. But it is quite possible that what we are forming now is a bull flag. And so I would really just look for, we don't want to be getting closes below this, big wick down that was hit on the 5th. We don't want to see closes below 270. If we do see closes below 270, I think definitely it's coming down to around 265. Maybe 260 is a good level to dip by at if there's a wick below that level. But we just don't want to see closes below these levels. And really, we did see one close below this 236, but that didn't confirm the breakdown, so we need to see two closes to confirm that breakdown. And right now, it looks like we are reclaiming this yellow 618. If we do close above 286, really, then I think that could suggest that this is a bull flag, and we may be attempting $3.301, and then potentially, moving higher, like to this 786 here. In yellow, that is a price of $3.07.4. So maybe look for some resistance there. And as I had mentioned, with the 1618 extension from this white retracement, that could suggest prices going down to, $1.47.3. But I don't foresee that happening anytime soon, as there are a ton of levels here that we would need to break through before we get there. And it does look like this could be bullish consolidation. So, I would look for, test of these levels, and if we're not closing below them, getting two closes below them, I would think that $3.01 is definitely on the table, potentially going higher, but look for two closes above those levels there. And now I am going to switch over to Fisker, as this was requested. I did put all of these comments down here during the live stream when I did the earnings call, which I streamed after it was released. But yeah, what I basically see with this, I'm actually going to delete these comments just so it's not so cluttered. I did mark that gap apparently with that blue line. So that is at a price of 71.5 cents. That was the low hit on February 29th. So it's something to keep in mind. But then, looking at this, if we do see this, 1618 extension from this Fibonacci retracement, that is at a price of 37.17 cents. And we have not yet hit that level. The low that was hit on March 1st was 37.7 cents. And so what I am looking for with this is, I don't want to see prices going below 37.7 cents or closing below that. If we do see a close below 37.7 cents, I do think that suggests further downside. And a way that we could get to that further downside is really by adding the 2618 extension, which is actually already on here. So if I just adjust the y-axis, that would suggest price could be going down to as low as 13.17 cents. So not looking too good there, but I do think we can get another level to the downside, a little bit higher than that based on a retracement here, if I do look at that. But for me personally, I had added a little bit more to my position at 41 cents. I had initially added at 43 cents during this, I think, pre-market or after-hours trading happening around earnings. And I just said, I'm going to put on the brakes, wait to see where it goes following that before adding more. And so I decided that I'd place a buy order at 38 cents, being just above this Fibonacci level and being, just above the all-time low at 37.7 cents. And so if we do wick down to 38 cents, I'll pick up some more shares. But if not, I'll be happy that price is going back up. If it does break below 37.17 or, the previous low of 37.7, I would think that it could be going much lower. And so I would again put on the brakes before adding more. And I should note that this could be a bear flag that we're forming with this big red candle being down 8.5% on the day on the 4th, which was, I believe, Monday. Yeah, to start the week. Now consolidating here. So that does suggest to me this could be a bear flag. And so with that, one thing that I can do, I'm actually going to delete these levels so they don't obscure the view. I can do a Fibonacci retracement. Let's see, do I still have I do have all of the levels marked there, so that's good. I'm just going to do that retracement from, let's see, the low here up to the high, not go into the high that was on that day. Or maybe I will adjust to that, but I'm just going to do the high that was following it. So it's a retracement from that move from the bottom here to the top here. And so the low is 37.7. It does look like I have that marked correctly. And here the high was 56.8. And so I'm just going to adjust that. So it's just right over here. 56.8 is what I said. So do that, it's locked into place. And so from that bottom to top retracement, we can get an idea of where it might be going to the downside if it does extend lower. And that would suggest a price of 25.9 cents. If this does break to the downside, which it might very well, because it does seem like, we are below the 786 currently at 41.79 cents, not suggesting a lot of strength, also being below 40 cents. So, I do think it is looking fairly weak, and I do think that it could be breaking below 37.17, this fib level. and going down to 26.25 cents right around there. But let's see, if I do adjust this Fibonacci retracement to the high that was on that day, so maybe fudging with it, just a little bit. What was the high on that day? 58 cents, so I can adjust that. Yeah, 58 cents. So I'll do this. And that would, put it at 25.15 cents. So, something to consider, that if we do break below 37 cents or 38 cents, get closes below that, really two closes. If you see one close below 37 or below 38, that could just be a fake out. What you need to see is two closes below the low here. That was at, let's see, I'm just going to lock that in place so it doesn't move. The low here is at 37.7. If we do see a close below that, could be a fake out. We see two closes below it. That would suggest further downside. And I don't think 30 cents would be a good buying opportunity. I think that price could go lower, like to 25, 26 cents. So for me personally, that would be my next buy order. If my order's filled at 38 cents, I might then place another follow-up order at 26 cents, because I don't want to be chasing a falling knife and just buy. But I do think that it could be potentially finding support around this level. So that's why I would add a little more there, but then reevaluate. So those are my thoughts on Fisker. And now I will just go over Lucid, because I'm interested in this stock. I do feel like $3 is potentially acting as support. It does look like current price is above this yellow line that I've drawn here at $3.11, corresponding to the lows over here, also corresponding with the 236 level from this Fibonacci at $3.12.5. Hopefully we don't close below that. It does look like we are testing it, so hopefully we get a close above $3.12.5. But if we do break below that, again, could be a fake out. So, keep an eye on that. But if we do get two closes below $3.11, or really maybe below this wick low here that was hit on March 5th, that was at a price of $3.07. If we get multiple closes below that, definitely this wick low here from February 28th at $3.06. If we start to see closes below those levels, I do think we could be retesting $3 marked by this white dashed line, potentially returning to the low here at $2.88. I do think that, with this big down move here, this could be bearish consolidation, looking like a bear flag there. But, it did bounce, following hitting, 288. So maybe this is bullish consolidation. Tough to say. I'm not the best at identifying that, but I think that this probably looks a little more bearish, especially, we are putting in a bearish engulfing candle here. But I do think that the close will be important. Ideally, we get a close at $3.13 or higher. And that could suggest that we are just, testing these lows and not going to be breaking down. But if we do break down, maybe $3 is a good level. And, on the note of levels, I might color this one yellow and do another retracement just to give us some ideas about that. And so let's see here, going from the low 288 up to the high here, which was 344. I don't know if I can get it lined up just right. I'm going to have to adjust it here. So 344, get that just right, and then that low just right at a 0 there. And now that is locked into place. That does, where we're currently at corresponds with the 618. That is at a price of $3.09.4. So just a confluence of levels here, just above $3, right around $3.10. So hopefully we do hold this, but if we don't, the next level down would be the 786. That is at a price of exactly $3. So that might be kind of a magnet, just like thinking about psychological levels and stuff like that. And speaking of these levels, I might pull up Max Payne so we can look at Lucid for this week and see where that is at. And so for this week closing tomorrow, March 8th, let's see what the Max Payne is, $3.50. So that is currently above current price. So maybe we could get a move to the upside, but I suspect we would close below that, suggesting that the bears are in control. It does seem like it as far as the chart goes. If we look at next week, that is at a Max Payne of $4. So, potentially are some moves to the upside. If we do, let's see, close the week here, on the 8th, we might begin the week, and next week would coincide with potentially breaking out of this, let's see, falling wedge that I have drawn here. So, I would look for closes above, let's say, the 382, that is at a price of $3.22.6. So if we can start to get some closes above that level, I do think that could suggest a breakout, but maybe we'd have to retest it before bouncing higher, getting up to, right around $3.50 a share, maybe $4 for next Friday, closing the week on the 15th, and hit that max pain. That would be pretty nice to see those up moves. And now I'm going to switch over to Polestar, ticker symbol PSNY. This one actually, looks pretty interesting. I think both, Polestar and Lucid could be finding support. But with Polestar currently below this uptrending level that I have marked by this dashed line, and that does coincide with what appears to be the 786 from this white retracement here. That is at a price of $1.74. So ideally, really, we want to see closes above $1.74, $1.75 to reclaim this uptrending level of support. But we might just be getting some fake outs. It does seem like we are testing that, but it also could seem like we are forming a bearish flag, a bear flag, with these moves coming down following filling this gap here at 215. We are putting in a bearish engulfing candle here. As long as we do close, let's see, yesterday's open was at 174. If we do close below 174, that is a bearish engulfing candle. So really, we do want to be putting in a close at or above 174 today on March 7th. So we're not losing that level of support. But if we do lose it, what are some levels that we might find as support to the downside? 166, I believe that's one I've gone over, corresponding with, let's see, I believe the open here, or sorry, no, the close here was 166 on February 5th. Just below that, we got the low on that day of 165, so some levels there. But what I might do is I might actually gray out this Fibonacci retracement here. Just do that here so we can draw a new one going from the low of 130 up to the high here of 217. And so if I do that Fibonacci retracement, we can look at some levels that we might be finding support, potentially suggesting that we are at support right now. So looking at that, and let's see if I can get that lined up just right, lock it into place so it doesn't move. And here, it does look like 173.5, the 50% retracement, is a potentially important level that's being tested. And so that is, just below 174. So again, this confluence of levels, I think that's an important one for us to hold. If we do get a close below 173, I do think that suggests bearish moves to the downside. But we do want to see confirmation. So look, especially for the week closing tomorrow, Friday, March 8th, we don't want to see closes below 175. If we do, I think that suggests weakness and that we will likely be moving lower next week. And I believe actually next week, the options do expire for Polestar, so we can see what the max pain is for Polestar coming over here. And yeah, so for the 15th, sorry about that little stutter there, let's see, max pain of $2. And so that is above current price, but I do think that it suggests that bears are in control, potential bear flag, bearish engulfing candle. So I do think we might be heading lower, and the next level down that I see here from this retracement is the 618 at a price of $1.63.2, kind of coinciding with these other levels ranging up to $1.66. So hopefully we do find support around there, not closing below $1.64. I do think that would be bad. But then there are other levels to the downside, ranging from this 786 here at a price of $1.48.6, so right around $1.50, ranging up to around $1.59 with this, looks like a previous low, I guess, before this run up. So I do think those are some levels to be paying attention to if we do break and close below, 175, 174, 173. Those are all levels we don't want to be closing below, but we'll have to see. With current price right now, if we don't get an afternoon rally, I think it looks like we're probably heading to, around 166, 163, if not lower, but hopefully not closing below 163. I think that would be bad. And now switching over from these EV stocks, I'm going to go over NIO, which was requested. I will do a follow-up next week on this one, but, I just wanted to follow up, since they did have earnings on the 5th. Price has gone up quite a bit since then. Let's see, currently, from the low at 178 up to the high, that's a move of more than 20%, but it does look like it is putting in a little bit of a red today, being down about 2.25% so far on the day, with the day not being over yet, but it does seem like we could be cooling off. And I do have a cluster of levels here, so kind of tough to decipher. But what I can do to maybe spread them out, make this a little bit cleaner, is I can bring this retracement down to the bottom here at 478. 478 at the bottom there. Sorry, had a little brain fart there. Tough to be talking while doing all this stuff, nonstop talking. But yeah, so looking at this, I think I should add some levels to that. So I can just go up to the settings here and add them based on the proportions. Actually, no, all of the levels are there. Nope, actually, no, they're not. 618 and the 786 are not. And so it does look like, yesterday on the 6th, we did test the 618 from that retracement and got rejected from there. We did get a wick up to, let's see, the 50% from this retracement on the way up. That was at a price of $5.82. We did get a wick high yesterday, hitting a price of $5.88. We did close above the 618 here from this white retracement at $5.74, but we could not hold it. And so that is really why you need to look for confirmation. You get one close above it, pretty close to that level, but we did not get a confirming close above it. And so now having the wick high at $5.88, we'd really want to be closing above that level to suggest that buyers are stepping in at these new highs. And so what I could see is price settling out potentially around the 50% retracement here. That is at a price of $5.56, or right around the psychological level of $5.50. And so I could see us retracing to that, consolidating a little bit, and that could be bullish consolidation before the next move up. Hopefully we don't get any closes below $5.56. If we do, then I would think that the next level down, the 382 at a price of $5.37, I do think that would be tested. It does seem like there are a lot of levels below where we are at, so I think that we will find support somewhere soon before making another attempt at getting to, really $6 a share. I think that's kind of the golden level that we want to be getting to. I do think that we will be testing it, but I think after, the runs that we've had, really, going up to the high of yesterday, it was a 20% move over those past 2 days from the low. I think we just got to cool off a little bit, hopefully finding support with maybe wick lows around 550, and actually the low of today being 547. That might be a good dip buying opportunity for us to consolidate above 556 before making the next leg up, assuming this is a bull flag or the start of a bull flag formation, but it may not be. And actually, maybe if I do look over at the 1 hour chart, we can get a better idea if this is a bull flag. And yeah, but I do think that maybe 543, that has been such an important level for me. It haunts me, I do think that keeping an eye on 543, maybe that is a good dip buying level. But I do think that I think that price is going higher, but it just needs to kind of cool off before making another attempt at $6 a share. So those are my thoughts on NIO. I will do a more proper update next week. And then also now finally moving on to TCRT. This is one I am not familiar with at all. And so just looking at the chart, I do think that, we could, you can look at this in a number of different ways. I think probably it looks pretty good, but I think there's some things a little concerning about it. Things that look good to me. Let's see. I'm just going to see if I can do a little trend line here. I don't know if this will look good. But yeah, it does maybe look like this is a bull flag. I'm just going to, I don't like the white lines on there. And so we do have, the lows at 66 cents over here. And then it did move up, hitting a high over here on January 5th. at a price of $2.78, a pretty big move, and then it has been consolidating. So this could be a bull flag. However, it is a little concerning that they have been putting in lower lows as far as the price and lower lows and lower highs with the price. And then if we do look at the RSI, we do have a high here going to a low. So there's no divergence. It doesn't look like there's bullish or bearish divergence. The RSI does seem to be respecting kind of what the price is doing. So there's no real tell there. But, on the note of this potentially being a bull flag, we do kind of have something else that looks like it could be another bull flag forming over here. So maybe that is something to be paying attention to. Excuse me. Although we have been putting in lower lows. Excuse me. Sorry about that. And so that is a little bit concerning. I guess I would look for, a close below this wick low, which was hit on February 26th. That low was at a price of $1.81. So if we get a close below that, I would think that this is probably going down more, potentially to put in a new lower low. And then also, I guess one thing that does stand out as potentially bearish, which may, be nothing. But if I do connect the low that was here, that was at a price of, $1.68.9. So it's a tough one to get exactly right. And so if I connect that with the level over here, the low on this day was $1.34. I'm going to have to adjust both of those just to make it just right because I got a little bit of OCD. I'm sorry about that. And so, this, I'm just going to draw that here and then delete that one. So now that is drawn there. I'm going to make the line a little bit thicker just so it's a little clearer to see, and I'm going to color it purple. For whatever reason, I tend to make necklines purple, and what this looks like to me is the possibility of a formation of a head and shoulders pattern where you have the left shoulder here. If you were to draw this, extend this line over here, you could view it as either a little shoulder here or a bigger one over here, head over here, and potentially the right shoulder. And so I could actually see this. I don't think this actually looks terribly strong because, this was a bull flag over here in that it moved up, consolidated, and then moved higher. And so that was a bull flag right here. But then since it moved higher, those gains were lost. It did retrace all the way, and we could actually do a Fibonacci retracement to see if this level here was significant at all. But those gains were given back. And so this does not suggest to me that this bull flag is continuing. It does suggest that that bull flag played out here and that it has since broken down. And so this does look to be just weak overall. And that I would say that this is more of a head and shoulders pattern, putting in lower lows here. And I do think that we might be retesting this neckline. And so with a retest of that neckline, we can get a measurement from, let's see, the top of the head or approximate top of the head here. I could go up to those wick highs, but I'm just going to be a little bit more conservative. And so just drawing down from that high to the neckline here, if let's say we get a break over here, maybe it takes a couple weeks to get back to that neckline, and that would be at a price of right around, right around $1, kind of a psychological level too, so that makes sense. Also, with this being listed on the NASDAQ, it needs to be holding above $1, so that's an important level. But if I do adjust the y-axis, we could see where that measurement would take us. That would take us to actually a negative price. So I think that's probably, jumping to conclusions. Maybe I say we break the, or getting ahead of ourselves, I should say. If I adjust this to, if it were to break that neckline today, let's see, that would put price at, still negative, right around 0. So it doesn't look too good there. So I don't really think that this is a head and shoulders pattern. But I just generally, I think it looks pretty weak. It has had its big move up and, it had its move higher. But let's see, and really taking an example, turning this into an example, we did get a wick high here. On January 5th, the high was $2.78.4. So I'm just going to put a line right there, $2.78.4. Sorry. 78.4. I'm going to adjust this here so it's exact. And so, let's see, that was, let's see, 70, man, I need to remember better. The high, 78.4, okay. Just getting a little hazy here. You know, this video is going on for so long. Oh, man, and I am screwing up here. I need to be on that line. This is rough cut request, rough cut live, so, or, you know, it's not live, but I'm not editing it. So anyways, that level there at $2.78.4, we have not been able to get two closes above it. We got a wick above, and then we closed on January 24th at a price of $2.77.7, so below that level. We got another wick above it, could not close above, and we got multiple opens above that level, but could not close above, and that suggests rejection. That suggests weakness. We were not able to confirm above that level, and so these were the exit opportunities to get out of the position. As far as I can tell, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we do see a mini bull flag here that might break to the upside, but, you know, we don't see. Again, you know, even with the highs over here, we got a wick above them here, but we could not get closes above. That's suggesting a lot of weakness. So, you know, while I don't necessarily think that this is a head and shoulders pattern, I don't think the price is going negative. I do think, though, that we will be revisiting the lows that were hit, let's see, around February 21st and 22nd. So those lows were $1.34 on and $1.36 on the 22nd. So I think that we are heading sub $1.50 to a mid $1.30s. So I would look for that. But, you know, before I do close this video, I am going to do a Fibonacci retracement from the low here at 66 cents, going up to the high here at $3.28.5. Is that right? Yes. And so I'm just going to lock this in place and adjust that so it's just right. 28. Oh, sorry. That should be 66. Get my numbers switched around. And this should be 28.5. All right. So looking at that, it does look like we broke below the 618 at a price of $1.66.3. And we didn't test, but we nearly got to the 786 at a price of $1.22.2. I do think that price may very well be returning to $1.22.2 because it doesn't look too strong. But, you know, I think it's good to be keeping an eye on $1.66.3. Maybe we do hold that as support. Maybe we do get a close above the 50% level at a price of $1.97.3. If we do get a close above that today, I do think that what we're seeing now could be a fake out. Maybe we do get another test of these levels to the upside, potentially the 382 at a price of $2.28.2. So just something to keep in mind there. But generally, I do think that, you know, the profits should have been taken over here or over here. But, you know, I could be wrong and we might be getting another test up there. But generally, this is not looking too strong. And so I would caution around it. But I, of course, could be wrong. You know, I am at times. But I do think that these are some levels that might be helpful for you. And if you did find them helpful, make sure you like the video, share your thoughts in the comments down below, and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this and rough cut requests. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Take care.